Hey everybody, welcome into the space, into the area. You know exactly who you are before I do. I go by the Holy Kowski. We are doing our April 2026 reading, family. We have our remaining zodiac signs here. I'm going to pull you guys' name live so you know that this is not pre-recorded and we can establish a rapport of Trusky. And then we're going to keep going. I am so excited to be here today. I'm so refreshed. I'm just really enthusiastic. There is so much information specifically about this like surge of Aries energy that we have in the cosmos that's like that hasn't happened in 20,000 years. So, you know, there's just so much forging through right now about our voice, our our right to guide our lives from this individual sense of self rather than these false templates. So, I knew it would be a historic time for me to be able to support you guys. I hope you've been really loving the Zodiac drops thus far. They have been my best. I've never produced or been offered such beautiful insight. I will say it's my commitment to myself that I keep getting higher level downloads, like, the things like, not causing suffering on the planet and being mindful and accounting for myself. Like all of those things are the reason God trusts me with higher quality downloads. And so I'm just really grateful because you gotta fucking really sacrifice to live this life. So I'm so glad that I can get you guys this shit hot off the press for real. So anywho, this is the fun part. Let's see who God. I feel so connected. Every time I'm sharing, I'm just like, I just feel really, 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 really connected right now. So let's see who you are. Who is this? Oh my God, I'm so freaking out right now. Who is it? Scorpio! It's like it's in my spirit, you know what I mean? It's in my spirit. Scorpio. Oh my God, I feel like we haven't talked in fucking forever, dude. Doesn't it feel like we haven't talked in like a long time, Scorp? How's it going? How are we doing? That's what I feel like. I was like, how are you guys doing? It's like, I have no clue. I'm so excited to be talking with you guys, and I'm just so excited to be connecting with you guys. Scorpio, I have a feeling that like, again, it's so funny because Scorpio, like, there's such an undercurrent of like underdog energy. Scorpio is so comfortable like ducking off and just like doing everything in the underworld and then just like popping up one day above ground and just being like, here's everything that I built in the underworld. I feel like that's going to be a message for you. It's like Scorpio's like, anyways, and here it is. Because I kind of did that. Like, I kind of feel like you fuckos. Like, I don't let you girls know all my plays. Never. Never. You girls have small brains. But yeah, Scorpio, I just feel like that's kind of your vibe. I have no other agenda, but I just feel like that's where I'm at in the position, and I feel like God has really been using me this broadcast to like kind of have me positioned in what the energetics are. So like what I'm really doing is just like, yeah, long awaited, bigger, more developed ideals are coming through, and I feel like at this time they're able to sort of bud. But I think a lot of that has to do with how much you're deeply connected to Aries. Aries, yes. Mars and Aries and the Tower card are huge for you. Those are like all of these scorpionic elements, and that's where I feel like you feel really comfortable. I feel like you're about to really surge in power. I think the power is just about to really just like, it's okay. Anyways, so should we just do the fucking reading or what, Scorpio? So yeah, I'm so glad I'm reading for you guys. Please come in, get comfy, and then we're gonna do the whole water thing, and then yeah, so Scorps. Oh God, I'm so glad to see you guys. I really am. I really, really am. Okay, let me see. Second. Scorpio, I feel the need to hydrate because this is gonna be a good one. Scorp, okay. See what we got. Scorpio, this is my last day of my tea break. Whoa. Okay, Scorp. Okay, Scorpio. Okay, so. Wow, okay. So Scorpio, I'm just going to present it as it is. So at the bottom of your deck, you have the Temperance Angel, okay? I genuinely believe that this is how, because with what I'm seeing here, Scorpio, it's almost like two of the cards that have come out are like, they've landed like this. Okay, see that? We'll go over it. We're going to take your center energy, Scorpio, as the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords. Yes. Scorpio, I'm going to be very honest with you. Temperance has balanced your waters internally over the course of this time for you. And I think through that balancing process, it has really, I feel like there's something that really just like is getting driven home. I think there was something you could not identify. There was a partnership you did not identify. And I think it was because the feminine aspect of the partnership, it looks like you didn't view them. It's like, look at this. I feel like, Scorpio, there's a couple things here. So one of the things that Spirit is saying here is like, in terms of partnership, the thing that you really need to actually make your partnership center is looking for the equality in the realm of Pentacles. I think you've gotten just about every type of partnership experience down. The issue here is that most of the people that you partner with never come through in terms of the physical manifesting world. So people aren't able to manifest like you. And I feel like, Scorpio, you've gone through this very long, I almost want to say 9-month cycle. It's almost been like a 9-month cycle for you, Scorpio, where it is like God is the temperance angel, if you will. And Scorpio, I really want to say, I almost feel like you were given a temperance angel. You were given a divine helper to help you, because the divine could see that you were so overburdened. And so what the divine sent to you was the fix, which was trying to illuminate you in the sector of your partnerships right now. What really needed to happen was you're always partnering with all these other things, but none of them can manifest the way that you do, Scorpio. So what does that lead to? They may, I guess, add aspects of things, but then they can't produce. It's like it's like Scorpio is doing all of the manifestation of the thing. And so you've had this like really long repetitive cycle where I feel like perhaps, I don't know, I just want to say, because there's 9 swords, I feel like these are months. So 9 months ago, it really may have been, think about where you were 9 months ago, Scorpio, because it's like 9 months ago, it's almost like there was a disillusionment of this. Like this is where it was. It was like, and I feel like, again, I think too, there has to do something with like your approach to this. It's almost like you were trying to vet something out, or it has to do with like, I think you might have, so here's what I'll say to you, Scorpio. Sometimes God sends us things, and if we're not in the proper disposition, we might really try to control the parameters of how that thing can or should, like how we should relate to it. Because what I'm seeing here is I don't think you understood what you needed. You know, I think you're coming from being so over bombarded with like holding everything's spiritual truth and being because again, I just feel like you're the person that's just like providing everyone with a spiritual context, rather than the people around you, the things around you coming from their own spiritual context and aligning. I think it's like you basically being like, okay, this is your destiny, this is your destiny, this is your destiny. And it's like everybody really relies on you to do that. But then it's like, you're really, and that's happening. But then it's just like, I just see, Scorpio, you've been really spending like the last 9 months, like in a lot of deep regret. I just see, I feel like a lot of deep regret. And I know this to be the truth because this kind of lines up kind of with like, it really kind of reminds me of my dad. So like one of the worst things that happened at the end of our like whole 20-year reunion thing that God allowed us to have last summer was how he basically went up to me and Dennis and said we were broke. Because today, I told you, April 19th is going to be a day of atonement. So like my dad put all his marbles in and said by some out of nowhere after the last 2 months of seeing all the evidence and all the miracles and doing the whole thing and joining church and all this stuff, on our way out of his house, he was like, you and Dennis are actually broke and you guys don't have anything. And so I'm going to kick you. So he kicks us to the street. And in the 9 months from then, I was like trying to tell my dad, I was like, Dad, okay, this is not appropriate. One, you've been absent in my life for like 15 years. So like you really have a botched perspective. And my dad was also just like super bombarded. Like the real reason he said that to us was because of how much was going on in his mental, because he was running this church and his church had gotten to a place that was so like, sort of imbalance, that he was kind of just like assigning everybody, that he was just like doing too much heavy lifting. And I could tell that it was really affecting his perception, because it was like God sent him an angel, which is his favorite child, coming back and bringing Dennis, his new son and everything. And it was like, in the end, he basically was like, he called me a liar. He basically said everything that I do with Tethered Studios is like not real. He said that I'm like lying, like my tour was a lie, that I'm not actually making money, that me and Dennis are just actually there to like take money from him. Like just to like, I guess he just thought we were just like there to like hang out. And I was like, that's hilarious, Dad, because this is the first time I've seen you in 10 years. So how could that be the case? That I had some big plan to just come back to your house that I didn't even know you'd open the door for. Right? So Scorpio, I feel like I'm giving you this analogy because this is you. Today on the 19th, whoever you said wasn't shit, whoever is fucking covenant, whoever is this two of cups outside of you that you said wasn't shit, and specifically you said they're like bums. You said like you also spoke like you'll never have this, you'll never be this. It was actually like the divine. This is not good, Scorpio. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Downtown 81, but it can just kind of be the same analogy. It's like the Frog Prince. It's like the divine was hidden for you, Scorpio. In like it was just like this angel was hidden. It was hidden. It's almost like it was hidden in your fears. So it's like if you're coming from fear-based thinking, Scorpio, you have too much on your plate, which is full stop. That's the first problem. It's like because you didn't understand how God was trying to help you. These people were gonna help you with the manifesting thing, but instead you chose to be an asshole and be like, you're not shit. You almost looked at them like, you treated them basically like everyone you deal with. It's really not that personal, because really what you did is it's almost like, Scorpio, you got so backed into a corner, because I feel like whether this is 9 months, 9 years, 9 decades, it doesn't even matter. I feel like, Scorpio, you've been doing this thing where you're the only one who can manifest in your general vicinity. Like whenever everyone's around you, it's always you. And that's kind of your own narcissism issue, where it's like, I'm the only one who can manifest. I'm the only one in this whole environment that can like produce something physically. So when you go to partnerships, this is also you, Scorpio, like seeking out people who cannot manifest for you. So like a lot of Scorpios right now are in hell on the 19th because you have a partnership that's like this thing that I literally sought out. It's almost like you can't even get mad because it's not like you didn't know. You literally used to seek out people who can't create something with you physically. But I also feel like that would create you into the person who also goes around and goes up to people who are completely like, who God is like, this is this. And you're going up to them, treating them like the bitch. Because the thing that you're feeling right now is a lot of regret, because this is a divine entity you came against. So I feel like you've been getting 9 months of hellish karma. And I think you know exactly what that would be a derivative of, because you went and lied on the spirit of a spiritual celestial energy. Because these are unions that are here to erect new earth. They do have ancestral abundance. And it's not just you, Scorpio. Again, I think you were coming from the narcissism, like, I'm the only one who has any money. And I think you thought these people were coming up to you asking you to do what I guess but it's also like, Scorpio, we got to check the ego here, because like, you kind of assume this role, right? Is it everybody else isn't capable, or are we all equal humans and you actually are just the narcissist, like controlling everyone, limiting people's ability to expand? Do we see what we're saying here, Scorpio? Is what I'm saying. Because this is the energy that has come out. Look how much this has eaten you alive. And I'm saying you have been marinating over this, Scorpio, for a fucking long time. Like I said, it's probably been 9 months since you made a judgment call that a temperance angel, an earth angel, is a not shit bum. And I feel like you did it even in the midst of overwhelming evidence. This is someone who was going up to you and being like, I literally have would you like to see? And then you being like, no, I already know what I know. And really, you don't know nothing but Brokeback Mountain, because you've been broke back your whole life. You've been the one who's been doing this dynamic where it's just like, I'm the only one who can produce this shit, who has the scorpionic power, underground power to like produce this physically. And so then you like kind of rejected people who were really seeing eye to eye with you, who were really seeing you get what I mean? They were really like matching your value. You missed that. It just went right over your fucking head, didn't it? That's unfortunate. Yeah. And I feel like, Scorpio, we've got to be really sensitive about, like, this is a bigger, deeper conversation. This isn't about me just like consoling you. This is a deeper conversation of like, it's a problem if we don't recognize God, because then what the fuck are you praying every day for? Do you get what I'm saying? I look at my dad all the time and he didn't know who was sitting in his face. I said, Dad, this whole church, you might as well wrap it up. This is what's wrong with Christians. You sit up here in this church every day and you don't even know what God looks like, because God brought a miracle right in front of your face and you, 9 of Swords, did. Nine of Swords is PTSD, Scorpio. You probably have a lot of PTSD. You probably have a lot of complex post-traumatic. You have a lot of compounding traumas, it looks like, that are making you tweak. And I think it's funny, Scorpio, because you literally went up to this person and called them a crash out. Scorpio, you're the OG crash out. You're the crash out. This was you crashing out on them. This was you crashing out on God. Not even on a person, on God. Do you get what I mean in that regard? You know what I'm saying? And so that's the most important thing to really pay attention to at this time. Because I mean, the feeling, and not to mention this energy that you're in, if you're doing any cycle with it, any other energy outside of yourself, you're also like causing that. Do you get what I mean? You're like also, you hear that like synchronicity, but like you're also causing other people that. So the other thing is like, there just seems like a lot karmically that's going on here, because I just think, and Scorpio, and I think, and here's the funny part, you're not in your ego about this. This isn't like the divine giving you back a lot of bad karma for what you said or what you stated or how you kind of knifed something in the back that just you didn't even give it the space because you didn't have the space for it type of situation. But it seems like immediate regret, because it's just like the evidence is, it's like it's like not even like the evidence wasn't there of what they were trying to present to you or say to you or da-da-da-da. I also feel like this is lying on your spirit. This is habitually like lying on your spirit. It's like, I think it has to do with, because you don't, this is like an inherent also not sense of worthiness. You know, like your own internal temperance water, your patience, your ability to expand, your philosophies are all ass backwards right now, because maybe that's just like a realm you haven't worked on. So you also, it's kind of just like, you really wouldn't have even been able to recognize that energy. I think it was making a lot of internal insecurity as well. Maybe that's another reason. It's just, but I just see like a lot of Scorpios, like your character is not me. Like my dad, like when it comes to me, like my dad, this is the biggest trauma I have. My dad is the type of man, like when he makes a mistake as a Scorpion man with me, he like murders me. And then my dad is honestly the most like repentful. Like he is the most like atoning nigga. Like he's so like, oh my, he's literally the gentlest human being on the planet. And so when he feels bad, a lot of times also, then he has an avoidant attachment style. So then he just like disappears and he just doesn't even know where to start, because he just feels, it's truly like, I can sense it all the time. It's just like truly eating him up. And my dad like couldn't even show his face. Like we left his house. Well, he kicked us out to the street in October, and I wasn't even mad about it. Because there's a lot of data that was going on. And again, I could tell with Scorpio, someone I love deeply, like, oh, that's sweet. Oh, and I feel like I just got a notification that was like from Instagram. I've never got this notification before. It was like sending me a notification. It's like Tethered Studios and Dolphin Boy Records. Check out their, and it was like, check out their stories before they're no longer available. And I feel like that might also be a spirit message, because I feel like my dad, like, I feel like the divine, like maybe like my dad, like literally he's a Scorpio who literally got presented Dolphin Boy Records and Tethered Studios, and God was like, I don't think he understood that there was a timer. Like with temperance was like, I feel like there's something that you maybe even also the attitude towards this is like, you think you have time to be like ideating or just in your head about it. But that was like your lifeline that you missed. I genuinely get a feeling it's like you literally missed the last boat out of here. And I just feel like it was instant regret. It was just instantly, because you know exactly what this means. But yeah, it's almost like the spirit just sent that notification. It was like, catch their stories before they're gone. And I feel like they're gone now. I feel like April 19th, they tried to tell you guys, it's like, there is a global day of atonement because of how the meek inherit the earth. And if you made a statement about a meek individual who God has on path to like inherit some sort of earth, that's not going to feel good today, because when you see what they create, it's not going to feel good, because you actually told them the exact opposite. You like literally you went really hard. It's almost like a serial abuse. You serially drove it home that that's not what they are, only for God to do the miraculous and elevate that straight out of the pits of hell. And yeah, and I think, and again, these things, they don't even know that you were wishing that. That's what I'm saying. Your karma is so individualized, because this isn't even something that's necessarily said. It's just like your attitudes, your beliefs. This is your beliefs about someone. You really believed the wrong thing about someone. No, it's not even about someone. You believe the wrong thing about God, because whoever this is playing out on, right? Sherman Ray did it to his daughter, but God was working through me. I said, Dad, I'm not the same little girl you fucking haven't seen in 10 years. So you need to catch up, Buster, because the Holy Spirit is in my motherfucking vessel. So I don't know what you talk about, but this ain't that. Nigga couldn't even hear it because he was so stressed out about, really with my dad, again, it comes from just spiritual maintenance, Scorpio. I feel like you have to keep evolving. You have too much initiation and things that are just not being dealt with and not being navigated properly, that it's like, it's just a bummer. Let's see. Uh-oh. Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio. Yeah, because this also could have been you. You were asked to help the Two of Cups. So, for example, this, I'm going to let you know, there was a very spiritual Two of Cups outside of you that you were asked to invest in, because they were being asked to work on their waters. They were being asked by God to clear their waters. It wasn't about the physical. And so you could have supported their physicality while they were going through that process, and you didn't. This is like, nope. And you didn't because you were like, you're not the Two of Cups. Whatever your personal reason for that was, you were like, you're not the Two of Cups. That's what you said. Like, nope. That's not what that is. Only for, you didn't, let me show you who you were actually not investing in. This is like not investing in Jesus and Mary, Scorpio, right in your face. This is like Father God, Mother God in your face. So this is a deeper conversation, because I think this whole situation, this whole last 9 months for you have shown you the ways that you actually, because maybe you're spirited, maybe you tell people, you know, you stay connected to God, or this has really made you question your faith and what you really even believe you really are doing, because maybe you're telling yourself one thing, then like in practice, if you can't recognize God when it's like the Empress and the Emperor are in your face, this is like, be very careful about what you see, because I also feel like you were only, I think it's about your perception is why you only saw them as the Two of Cups in reverse. That's what you saw. I think that's what you wanted to see. I think you, again, Scorpio, this is like about seeing what you wanted to see instead of what was really there. But are we doing that when it comes to our Creator? Fuck these guys. But I mean, it's like when it comes to God, are you only seeing what you want to see in divine prophecy? Or are you actually needing guidance? Because this is just sobering. This is just a lot of like, these things are what they are. And then there's you in your head. 9 swords for 9 months. Like I'm talking like a belaboring a long amount of time. Let's see. So, to me, I feel like the fear of God was putting you. I think whatever this current energy was, you know, the paternal aspect, you know, God has been, the fatherly aspect of God has been on that ass. I feel like your shit was escalated to the highest spiritual courts and it was dealt with immediately. It's like it was looked at. I think you feel that way. I think you feel like the way that your life has gone, and I still keep hearing this specifically the last 9 months. I feel like the way you think your life has gone specifically the last 9 months, you don't even feel like, you feel like you're the type of person that's like, God, don't let me get away with shit. Not shit. I feel like this Emperor is like looking at every single thing, every single time you tried it. I don't know. But the ironic part is what's manifested now is a King of Cups. So you're open-hearted and you've actually chosen your path. I think this is just how it went. I think it had to be that it was like I think this karmically for you would be the thing that does help you choose a path of open-heartedness. This was, I'm going to say it, God came into your path because you probably really matter to God. And it looks like you had a heart wound from living a life where it was like, I'm always going to have to be the person who like I'm the only one who can manifest physically. And that's why you didn't have that sort of a kingdom spouse frequency. It was like, you're never going to, God's like doing this, trying to open your heart chakra up for you, Scorpio. the last 9 months were about busting your heart chakra right open, because you need to have partnerships that can actually match you. But it was a heart chakra blockage, I believe, that was like you creating this perpetual cycle, because you're just running the whole empire by yourself. You won't let the empress come in. You just want to do it all. I don't think you want to do it all. You've been subconsciously programmed to only think to do it that way. And I don't think, unless you've watched this reading, that I feel like you know now, but I feel like what I'm trying to illuminate for you is like, that was the issue. You know, not having a real belief. I think there had to be a deeper, God had to really make a believer out of you. And it looks like that whole situation did. And honestly, as much as it seemed so, as much as there could be a lot of apologies or just like heinous behavior, I think in terms of how you treated these things, you ironically are coming out like, I owe you my, like, I'm not even mad. Like, Scorpio is like, I am not even kind of mad, because you know exactly who this counterpart is, because you've been alive for however long the fuck you've been alive, Scorpio, and nothing has opened your heart chakra yet. Nothing has actually dealt with the PTSD. I think you just have a lot of PTSD, straight up a lot of compounded experiences that were the reason that your perception was always so skewed, and it was never really going to be possible for you to let like some light in or some air in. But ironically, this is such a different disposition. Look how like you are so confident. And it doesn't really, and I feel like I said, 9 months, it may have been a long time, but it didn't matter, because I think at the end of the tunnel, you knew, well, there's one thing I have to do. And obviously I went through this and I made the decisions and choices I made, but then what's the deeper thing? And I think, Scorpio, that's the beautiful part, is you took this and you're like, what is the deeper thing that's going on here? Because it's all about me, right? It's always about me, no matter what I'm doing. It's about myself and how I feel about myself. So what you really realize is like, well, I understand now that this thing only had the power to kind of completely break my heart open like this, because it needed to be opened. It needed to be opened. And I feel like it is now. And I feel like, look at how you are so glad this thing, even though you fucking treated them like dog shit, they still came and did the job. They had their way in your life. They did what God asked you to do, which is open a road for you. Your road was blocked, and it was connected to a heart chakra blockage. Your roads kept closing because your heart chakra was clogged, and only divine temperance could open the road. And it looks like you fucked. It's basically like, you know how we always talk about, you could have we could do it the good easy way, we could do it the hard way. It definitely looks like you did it the hard way, but the divine gets it done either way. So what was going to happen was this temperance angel was supposed to come into your life and help open the road for you. You could have negatively reacted to that because you've been through PTSD and your fucking platoon and this shit. Okay, that happens. But the divinity sort of still course corrects, because it looks like Scorpio is standing with the road open now. Thank God. And it's ironic because the funny thing is, I think, okay, so here's what I'll say. This road cannot be opened unless you ask that person for the key. And I think that temperance angel is, they're divine, because it's not a human. Based on how you treated that person, a human being wouldn't do this. So this is also karmically just, because God needed you to believe that there are metaphysical, like there are because I think you're too materialistic, like you don't, because you're in the underworld, so you're like, I don't believe you girls are in the underworld, I'm in the underworld. You can't be celestial because I'm the fucking, metaphysical transformer, right? But I feel like this also helps you. Now this is someone who's like, without a shadow of a doubt, I know exactly who you are. So it's like, it's a lot easier to come back with love, come back, because you are completely different too. I feel like, no shade, Scorpio, last 9 months you were on some Emperor's New Groove, like, you know what I mean? Like you know, the humbling and the humility, you literally went through the last 9 months. You literally went through it. That might even be the title of your reading. Like, you went through an Emperor's New Groove. Go watch that movie, and that's exactly what happened to you. You were running an empire, and you were kind of a jackass, and the only way that you could learn empathy was by having God's intervention come and show you people who have high spiritual value, but maybe not as much materially. And when you learn from them, they actually teach you how to open roads and connect to your empire better, because maybe you were just getting on, the empire was fighting back. The empire was maybe striking back for the last 9 months, and it was getting kind of chaotic. But ironically, the medicine that you got from this Queen of Pentacles that you never gave the flowers to is still in the end, actually the only thing that could even get you to finally get the road all the way open, so that you can even present your heart openly. Because I think that was the problem. You keep trying to create and produce, but your heart is clogged and closed. So every time you do, it was like bugs, and it's like closed, and things aren't working out, and it's not translating, and people don't get it, but it's connected metaphysically to the closed heart chakra. Another thing that was really important in the recent past, you were going through the whole past, your whole past from right now to previously, you were just doing nothing but stealing from yourself. Why? When your heart chakra is closed, that means you're disconnected to like what you feel. You were in love with something that obviously you just you're lying about it. You didn't know, and it's like you didn't think, you would not have thought about you as lying about it. You would not have thought like, oh, I'm lying every day. It's not like you woke up and it's like, oh, what I'm gonna go do is go up to this person and lie. You can't feel your feelings. You literally could not feel your feelings. You don't know what you like. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this had to be, it was a deep heart chakra blockage. Had to, like, the closed heart chakra is directly correlated to why the road was closed. Now that this divine angel opened your heart chakra, the road is open. That's it. Simple as that. Because there's a lot of Scorpios with a lot of dynamics, but I'm just going to tell you, the way you treated the divine intervention and the help that you were sent was ass backwards. You treated them like a shitty emperor. You basically treated them like a peasant because they were all spiritually rich and there was nothing material. But even though, so when God told you like, oh, this person's supposed to help you financially, you're like, bitch, how? How could this bum help me financially with what the fuck I have, what problems I have in emperor land? They don't have an empire. They don't know anybody. They don't have any money. So how the fuck can they help me with what I need? And they were going to help you with spiritual. They were going to help open your heart. I also feel like they were going to give you a lot of love. Because I think you thought you're in financial ruin. You're in like, you need physical help. You need that kind of stuff. But so you were like, how the fuck can this bitch help me? And it's like, they were going to love you to death. They were going to just love on you because that's what look how you say love, their love in the end, they still kept giving it to you because it seems like that's just their soul's purpose. God's going to assign you an angel that's just soul's purpose is just to be love. And so eventually they don't ever give you anything but that. Even if it's not directed at you, even if they can't be in your personal life anymore, if you went up to an angel, all they do is heal with love. And so you've been delivered and your road is open, your heart chakra is open now. But it has everything to do with the fact that you were introduced to greater love in your life. And I feel like that's why all the friends, the comrades, the brothers, this is the hoes, everybody that you were connected to, they couldn't ever do more because they can't increase their capacity of love for you, you know? The love is conditional, right? And this is why this is how you do this. If you always spend a cycle with a bunch of conditional love in your life, eventually there's this big deficit that just keeps widening in terms of like unrequited. It's like just not requited. So unfortunately in the recent past, it's like, you know, you're having this experience where it's like you're like serially stealing from yourself. It's like repetitively stealing from yourself and you don't even know that that's happening because you literally were just, it's like ice cold. It's like, it's literally like your heart is like, you can't feel it and you didn't know how to do it. You didn't know what was going to do it. But it looks like the divine sent it. It looks like you refuted it, but it's almost like the person also, the angelic presence that was sent to support you, Scorpio, also could tell that it's like, well, if their heart chakra's closed, it's kind of like when if someone's like blackout drunk, good luck getting them to be coherent. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Like this person, like you were really, really hurting them and they really had to dig and to like detach in a lot of ways because they just know it's almost like if someone's asleep or if someone's heart is just like, it's like, I know you love me, but you can't feel it. So it's like, that's why you don't think I'm anything. And that's why your brain is just going to take the data. It's like, I'm not getting a pulse. Great. I don't feel anything for you. So you were being very like bold and conscious. And like, I think that's what was really humbling because you had this deep spiritual 9-month phase where it was like, okay. And it was just a deep dive into sort of like the defrosting of the, like, just how it's almost like I'm just getting like a dead body. Like if the heart is not warm, there's no warm blood like flowing through you. It's like you were being very cold-blooded. And I just felt like because you couldn't feel the own warmth of your own heart, you know? So let's see. And so then it takes this like warm body. It's like this very warm body comes in and it's just like, and I think slowly over time, the warmth, the heat, the fire that's coming from this opposite energy is just like completely supporting you to come online because I think it happens through the Kundalini. I think a lot of times when you find warmth is also magnetic, it's attractive. And so this thing, maybe through Kundalini, through sexual energy, whatever, it's like it took a lot of, and this is what I'm saying, you needed a healer. The divine cares so much about you. You run an empire, but you're like an emperor who needs a lot of healing. You're an emperor who's been very attacked by his own empire many times. right? Genderless. But this emperor has been attacked by the empire so many times that I feel like when it came to getting additional support to run it, you really were super mistrustful of just anything. And it's not even from a conscious place. It's from a heart being closed place. Let's see. Oh, Scorps, this is so awesome. I love your message. This is a very big and powerful phase in your life. And this Aries energy, it will never be the same. Because look at you now. Look at the water. It's water. It's not iced out. It's not anything. You're open-hearted now. You're back online. You feel things again. I just feel like for a long time you didn't feel anything. And then there came something that in your brain, it was almost like you couldn't feel anything because of a condition. But then it's like you see something that you know is the answered prayer, but you're not in the health to like receive it. It's almost like, damn, I know exactly what that is, but I still can't feel it. And that's going to stress me out. So I think all you could do was process this divinity that was in front of you through your mind. And then, but you were dying because you couldn't feel it because of your condition, is what I'm hearing. The condition of like a chronically clogged heart. Your chronically clogged heart chakra, your chronically blocked heart chakra is why all the roads were always chronically blocked. It's connected. Your heart chakra's got to be open for a road to be open for you. Do you understand me? Yes. And it's so beautiful because Scorpio, at the end of the day, this is still yet again another example of how you create everything in your life. Every transformation that you go through, just know, go back, give yourself the love, because as involuntary as it may seem, because it seems like all these things have to trigger your growth and development and whatever, as crazy as that all seems, you did this. You knew your higher self, the magician in you, the alchemist in you was like, dude, I know I need to initiate this. So give some love to your higher self, because they sent this whole thing, because God knows it's like whatever polarity you choose, maybe you fight it the whole way through. God will have their way. If it's God's plan, it will happen, Scorpio. But it was always destined that you were supposed to get this Ace of Pentacles, Scorpio. I just think, and I don't even think it was a question. I think that there's nothing but overwhelming evidence about, I don't think you're questioning about how this thing could even have like done it for you. I think you just couldn't feel anything. You couldn't communicate how you're feeling about them. You couldn't even just feel like they would do amazing stuff. Like I said, it's like only being able to process something through the mind, but not how you feel. Like you'd be seeing something amazing, but then you're not getting, it's almost like, it's more, like I said, it's like, I really pray. I do a lot of the work that I do because I want people to get the most out of their life. Like a lot of people have 40, 50-year marriages that they did a lot of really wonderful stuff that should matter a lot to them, but they don't get anything from it because they don't let themselves feel it, right? And so that's kind of what I'm seeing here is it's like it's almost like God, you did something miraculous. You were kind of like joined in on a group project that you didn't let yourself get any benefits from. So it's like you did your part, you helped out, it was successful, but it's like you didn't feel anything. And so that's what I'm trying to say is like it was never a question. And I also feel like, Scorpio, if there's something that you created and you want to know how it's going to go right now, it looks like you've been in the lab trying to cook something up, and it looks like it's been, like I said, 9 months. Maybe there was a stalling out, maybe there was just like, maybe there was 9 months of just like stalling out because you were dealing with this Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Two of Cups in reverse. You also might have been dealing with, a lot of Scorpios might have been dealing with like a fault. This also may have manifested that you were in partnership with someone that you shouldn't have been in partnership with. It's someone that doesn't actually have this. They're not actually this. So I feel like two things. There was someone that was sent to you angelically that you couldn't register as that, because I think you also already have someone in their place. And that's what you were all in your head about. It's like, I already have someone in that place as my Two of Cups. And maybe even you're lying. Maybe even this is a settling situation. Maybe even it's like karmic, right? That and karmic in the nature is not just necessarily demonic, but it's like it's something of your own creation. You settled and partnered with this thing because you settled for it, because it was what was there, is what you could think of. Doesn't really mean you leaned on divinity for it. So I think a lot of times too, God brought you in something. I almost feel like that's a bigger message too. It's like God brought you in somebody that you already had something in its place for, but it really wasn't. It was never like you didn't see it as your answer prayer. You knew it was your answer prayer. Awkward part is, shit, someone is currently playing their role. So I think you didn't know how to confront the person that's not the truth and tell them, I don't want you to play this role anymore, because there's someone who's actually supposed to be playing it. It's actually, I found out that it's not you. So you had a lot of just like emperor in the empire. Your empire just had a lot of shit in it that I think you just, whatever. And all the bugs in the empire are just the parts of your heart chakra that had not been opened. And so this is a really great lesson you hear, Scorpio, because you inherit so much power from God. And, you are the battery pack in everything that you do. And yet the condition of our heart can really completely affect and deter how that's going to be experienced. And so I want to let you know, Scorpio, whatever you have created, whatever is in Tether, it will come down as this. Something you created is going to come down as your new Ace of Pentacles. It's very much giving like, this thing can make you abundance. It's meant to be the thing that sparks your new cycle of abundance. So this is great. This is enough abundance for you, Scorpio, that you were really trying to create so that it could start your new cycle. And I think the best part about it is like, you really don't even care about that. I don't even think that this was the hardest part about it. I think you were more concerned. It's like, I don't want to, I think Scorpio, this is you. You're like, I've always been able to, when it's time for that new cycle, to pull it out and get the resources that are needed. But I think for the first time in your life, you were more concerned about like, I don't want to be the same, stale, crusty, cold, heartless, can't feel anything. I just feel like there was a numbness. You couldn't feel anything that was going on. And I think that got you in a lot of trouble. It got you in partnerships that don't make any fucking sense. Or it's actually not that they don't make sense. I think that's another big thing. Me and my husband were actually talking about this. Because, we were really looking back at, like, someone, and we were just, like, thinking about how we were, like, how did they, because it's, like, it doesn't even take a psychic to see, like, what's going on here, like, in terms of their dynamic, and it's very evident that this person's really, like, choice and misaligned partner really came from a space of, like, they must not be able to feel anything. Like, this is someone who obviously can't feel their senses because this person is so off and so misaligned. And also, the person that I think you're with is very obvious that they're not what you've put them as. That's what I'm saying. It's like you went up and claimed somebody, let's say, as a wife, right? But they don't, like, people might know what that would be for you because I think, Scorpio, you live a very specific life. You're an emperor. So, like, if you're an emperor, people would know, theoretically, if you had a partner, they'd have to probably be an empress. They'd have to be that kind of counterpart. It's almost like you went up to somebody who people would know, obviously, is like, that's not, they couldn't play that role. And I think maybe you're the last one to find out because it's like the reason you kept going up to people, and this isn't just romantic. I mean, this could be partnerships in business. This is like giving people a role where it's like, people are like, well, why would you give somebody that role when it's very clear they don't have the credentials, or they can't be that, they can't fulfill that. And so that's how people around you. I also feel like, Scorpio, you've been very easy to target. It almost kind of lends to this kind of makes you inadvertently gullible, right? When you don't have any access to your feelings or your senses, and then you're making you're a big shot caller, like an emperor. It's almost like we can tell that you don't feel like, again, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people might be looking at you like, that's your taste, like that's what you're into, that's what you like. Why are you into that? And it's like, you really knew it was a problem. I feel like this is like a chronic condition where it's like, I have not been able to feel my way through life or sense my way through life. Like, because it's like, listen, people can say anything. They can put on glamour and be in a mirage, an illusion in front of you. And I think the issue is like, I think, Scorpio, up until this time, you didn't want to tell. I feel like this is your kryptonite that I'm kind of exposing, right? But it's good because it's getting exposed under the conscious light, that it's like your kryptonite is that, Scorpio, a lot of times, as powerful as they are, they can't really feel a lot of stuff. They can't feel, like, you know what I mean? So a lot of times I think, Scorpio, you might be like kind of a little bit more in a guessing place, which is why you want to strengthen your relationship with God. Because you might be in a little bit of a guessing kind of era about, like, it's kind of like giving guess and check. Like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Because you've just kind of been relying on yourself and your status. And you're like, well, I'm an emperor, so I got myself here. So maybe when it comes to like having people help me with my vision or my mission or partnering up in life, I'm just going to try to like go on the merit of myself. But I think the funny part is like God really humbled you and showed you in the last 9 months. It's like you're partnered up with a bunch of shit that's not equal to you, and it can't even manifest with you. And it's sad because you're known as the emperor. That's what I'm saying. It's your reputation, Scorpio, more than anybody's is the problem, because you are the guy who runs the empire. So this is like your payroll being full of bullshit, you know, type of thing. And I feel like you might have been really discouraged because I think all of this, I think the reason you're asking for all this help and you're connecting with people is because you want to create something big. You have a big vision you want to bring down, and you really do genuinely want the Ace of Pentacles. You want the abundance that comes from the things you create. And so I feel like you were really learning. I think the last cycle for you was really truly about learning the ins and outs of the empire God has given you, and really learning that you've got to be you got to eat, sleep, breathe, and live it if you want to keep claiming the throne, you know. if you're not going to take a shit, then get off the pot type of shit. And I think you know that now. It's like you had to sit and put your face in your pot of shit and really learn, like, okay, God has given me a kingdom. Do I even kind of understand how much is a part of that? Because having this much stuff that shouldn't be in the kingdom, that can't help you with nothing, but having them like take up the space, and then they're taking up space from people who were divinely, like, then it seems like there were people who were like on a timer, like there was always going to be a day where they show up and they're like, hey, I'm ready to work in your kingdom. And you're like, sorry, we don't have any room. We don't need anybody. We don't need any help. And then you're actually like running the kingdom into the ground. And then you're wondering why. It's like, I haven't gotten rest in years. I just feel like every time I try to invest in something or I try to solve my way out of it, I end up stealing from myself. It's not working out. And then it's starting to kind of affect people's abilities. Because I do kind of feel like, I will say one thing is like, I do think there has been a significant drop in spiritual rank. I do think that the way that you disrespected God has also, like, you've lost a lot of rights. You aren't going to be known as necessarily the emperor that you were known as. I think you can build that back up, but I think God did peg you back down to just giving you one kingdom. So maybe this is someone who, like, you were more like, oh, I have a global vision, I have a global reach, and this is someone who's like, actually, you need to keep your ass back in your home state. You should just try to do your work from there, type of shit. Like, because you don't have because you realize now, like, I may not be super cut out, because I think this is just a lot of self-awareness and accountability. This is like, it's like every entrepreneur, every business owner, it's like there are strengths, highs and lows, strengths and weaknesses. It's like maybe your strength is, certain aspects, but then it comes to like, this would be a good time to be like, okay, maybe I'm not the best though at like talent acquisition, or like, again, the acquisition of like appropriate partnerships, like being able to assess. So like maybe that's something that you understand, like that's where you can grow and develop, because it looks like when God already gave you the badge to do it, you weren't doing it properly. And so now it's just like, God's like, okay, we can't allow you to do that part anymore. So we're going to just have you rein it in. Why don't you just focus on being open-hearted, which is the task that you have at hand now, instead of running the whole empire. So just, why don't you rule the kingdom of being open-hearted? And I think that's your new rebrand, Scorpio. I think you're going to show people how much more fluid you are. You're warmer. It's not like ice cold water. It's maybe a little bit warmer, you're a warmer presence to be around. I don't think you're so sterile. And, I think you've gone through a full transformation. I think also maybe there were some physical transformations too, as well. Like being the emperor kind of just like, I think too, Scorpio, sometimes this also has a lot to do with the disillusionment of capitalism. This might be happening to you spiritually, where it's like, if we decenter or we're deprioritizing the material plane, it's like not as important anymore. It's the type of thing where, I feel like capitalism colors people. I feel like capitalism puts the LBs on bitches. Like, sometimes like I try to tell people, it's like, don't always be so ready to run the fucking mansion. Don't always be so ready to run everything. Don't always try to max out. Because I think when you were always maxed out, it's like you just, hey, diva, you just had like so much more on you spiritually, like so much more like coded. So I just see like a spiritually slimmer. Like you've dropped a lot, and I think it's actually showing. And I think you might actually prefer the lightness, the lightheartedness, that it's just like, just my cup in my hand. And said, I also feel like you might want to be able to like, again, you might want to be more fluid. You might not want to be so stuck, because I think when you run the empire, you got to stay seated in the emperor's chair. Mia, don't you dare close the video. Right? And maybe that was messing with you. Maybe that's the other thing. Is like, I don't want to just be so in a posture. Let's keep seeing.
Mia. No. Come here.
Okay, and so then we're talking about in the near future, Scorpio. 10 of Wands and then the 5 of Cups. So, I'll be honest with you, Scorpio. It looks like, because the outcome that you're going to have in the near future, I want to give you a realistic expectation of what you can expect. So you put all your effort in, you completed your cycle in terms of like what you're trying to create. I do think though that the way that the split is going to come on, like when you present all the things that you've done, all the work that you had to do, you do just need to know that it's going to be kind of split. It might be more so overwhelmingly split, like 60-40. So it might be that like 60% of it, no, not positively, but for the 40, I think this is like, Scorpio, you just need to know you're probably not going to please a lot of people, because this story and this journey that you've been on is really personal to you. So when it comes to the things you create, it's going to have that same storyline. And if this is a little bit of a villainous thing, because it's like denying God, And so a lot of people might not really resonate with what you're putting all your marbles in, just because of the fact that, like, maybe a lot of people don't deny God. So they don't really, like, that journey, like the thing that you've created that shows that experience that you had to go through may not be for everybody. So this is another place where, again, like for my artists, for people, it's like, just be very aware that it's like, sometimes, you know, when you create something, it might be serving you, or, but the bright side is, I think that this thing that you've created, all this, it's really about you paying back a burden to someone else. I think the other thing that people need to know with Scorpio, what Scorpio's coming back out with is not general. What Scorpio needs to say right now, what Scorpio is creating and Scorpio is doing, it's not to please anyone, it's to please God. It's to correct. This is actually, I think people may not love this because they're not going to understand that this is deeply dedicated to who you just fucked over. Does that make sense? This is like if my dad got up and preached next Tuesday and the message was just about him coming to awareness about how he treated me. Some people might leave church and be like, okay, that was a word, pastor, thank you. It's like where the church might just need to be respectful and be like, I can tell pastor just needed to, like, deal with whatever he was dealing with, or like express and feel how he felt about, like, whatever, because this effort goes to the 2 of Cups. It's not really for this, and I think that's karmically just. It's not for the 3 cups that are spilled. I think this is Scorpio also being like, I'm so open-hearted, I don't really care about pleasing everyone. You know, I think whatever, indubitably, I also think that was the through line here, is that God's like, with whatever you create, you can't keep trying to do the emperor approach, which is you want it to be for everyone, because I think wanting to be for everyone, Scorpio, also got you in this very Brokeback Mountain burden. You made it a lot harder, because maybe this next thing, because let this be a lesson to you. Sometimes you can be talking very specifically, being very close to your own story, create something that maybe belongs to the world or is shared with the world, or just to the things outside of you. And it actually, the depth that you go in is, and just even if it's specific, it can be more affecting, right? Like today, I didn't have some message for other people. Today, people just saw me and Dennis, like, talking about our very specific next step. It doesn't really have shit to do with you girls. It's just like where we're going to fucking rest our bones and what we're trying to do. But I think that actually impacted so much more people, even though it's not like my general, like, it's not a Scorpio reading that I'm uploading. It's just an Alexis thing. It actually, that for people might be better than me trying to be like, oh guys, I'm going to show you guys like a how-to about like how to get to a new house for yourself. And this, because that's not, you know what I mean? Maybe not everybody wants what I have, you know? So I feel like that's what I'm trying to say is like, don't also, if I can get this out to you right now, don't also move forward in life anymore thinking that everybody's going to want what it is that you have, Scorpio. People want whatever they have, but so the way that you share of yourself, because that's what my dad does. He doesn't know how to preach without assuming that everyone wants to become a preacher. And he kind of fucked himself over because he kind of like trains people to be preachers, but you can't train someone to be a preacher, because it's actually his biggest wound. Because my dad is like always on the pulpit, like barking off, like, you don't know me. He like literally does that all the time because he's like so like, he's trying to distinguish himself, but he's basically like cloning himself. He's like giving people the plays on how to be him, but it actually like imprisons him. So that's another thing that you might not want to be doing. Again, it doesn't need to be, don't assume people want what you have, because I think you're also realizing that I think the reason you were rejecting also the divinity that came to you to help you out of your situation is because they didn't want your life. They didn't want to not be them to be you. You know what I mean? They're just here to work with you. So just like, remember that. It's like, you just need to worry about what you want out of life and going for that. Don't try to you don't have to be, because if you do, so just be careful, because you're going to be carrying 10 wands. So just know the truth of what you have to create with your magic abilities is 10 wands. So you're giving something it's heavy weight on your back, right? So just remember that use this power wisely, because this power is supposed to help people change. This is supposed to be something that you put all of your effort into to really try to see if someone will accept your open heart, to see if you can change something from spilled to, can I refill this? If I give all my love, can I refill this back up? That's what you're trying to see. But my advice to you would to be specific, to be honest, and to be accountable. Like, don't be general. Don't be like, don't do like my dad when he needs to give me an apology and then go to church and be like, oh, church, we're going to talk today about general, you know, whatever, and try to make it about how everybody needs to learn that. It's like, no, nigga, maybe you're the only one who needs to work on, you know, saying sorry. Because that's what I'm saying. I think, Scorpio, you might also, I'm really going to give you a tidbit. If you take your lesson and say it like everyone needs to learn that lesson, this will not go well. It will be split 60-40. And that 60 deficit will really be because it looks like you had to put a lot into it. So let me tell you again. If you are going in saying the lesson you just learned very personally about how to unblock your heart chakra and therefore open roads is something everybody needs to learn, you're going to come off as tone deaf, because I just want to let you know, your life is unrelatable. Your experience is very unrelatable, right? You run an empire. So to the common person, you know, you could easily start stealing their consciousness and get spit right back into that cycle because you keep talking to people like the very specific niche one-on-one shit you're going through is like something that we all just need to take, because you can't, you're trying to help people, you're trying to be some example, but right now you need to understand you're not an example. You're not. This is where you're literally not an example. You made a mistake. So all you really need to do is really deeply connect with the lesson and really evolve. That's all you have to do. And so if you have a position of authority, which it looks like you still do, you're still royalty, so people are still looking to hear from you with what you create, you need to make sure that you are putting all that 10 of wands to change, to make sure that your focus and what your effort really went into this was. If it does that, then it won't even matter about you will already have known what won't care for it, but the thing that you really need the affection of, it will completely be affecting, and it completely can fill that back up. So this is a very, very small window of time where you can completely make up for lost time, for completely spilling a situation that you were not supposed to spill. So if God is giving you this chance, I'm warning you right now, you need to fucking put your fucking pussy meat into that. And you need to really focus on who it's really about, because I don't think these things matter to you, right? These third party energies, they don't matter to you. So you can't care about being cool to the homies with this. You need to get right with God. You need to fix these cups that are supposed, you see what I'm saying? Because right now people don't have trust for you. The people that matter in your life don't have trust for you because you completely pulled a Sherman Ray. And you completely ripped out their spiritual truth on the road to your schizophrenic episode. And that was unnecessary and damaging. So you'd have to fix that. But we got to see you put all the effort where it needs to go. And if they see you even for a second in your ego, trying to please the bitches who don't matter with your message, when this person knows that you owe them karmically too. This person knows that you got whatever abundance comes next to you, you owe them. Because they were following God's instruction. God said you were supposed to be a part of this, help them stabilize. And you didn't. So if they see you spending all this abundance again and using your second chance to fucking help the bitches, you're fucking cooked for sure. You're cooked for sure. Beautiful, Scorpio. Beautiful. And I think you understand that. I think we're right on the same page. I think you're like, thank you, Alexis. Yep, that's very clear. I understand that. Because look, the lovers. You're surrendering to the lovers. You are surrendering to the lovers. This, what is required of you, what I believe you have created, whatever it is, I don't even know what it is. What you have created is it was a very difficult, well, it's something that, because you knew to fix this with your lover, you have to put in effort. That's all they've ever asked you for. So this is all that effort they never saw from you. So you put all that effort into filling back up this 2 of Cups that you didn't recognize so that you can go forward. Because I feel like you're about to have a proclamation. Spirit will move you forward if you do proclaim before God. There is a moment where you have to go before God and say who this lover is, Scorpio. You have to. You have to. If you want the destiny that you have. But it's like you've already done, you're in the King of Cups. So I think that's exactly what you intend to do. But I'm just letting you know what's on the table for you is like there has to be a ceremony where you go up to God and you say, God, I know who you designed for me. I know who you want me to be partnering with. I know who was supposed to help me with whatever this is for Scorpio. In order for this to move forward, in order for us to be able to innovate. I think you've been stuck at, you can't innovate what you're doing right now. You have this old, very analog way of doing things, but it's not in the new world. It hasn't crossed over yet. Your endeavors have not crossed over yet. If you want them to cross over, you have to, but you're at the gate and God's like, well, who are you supposed to cross over with? Because you got the wrong bitches right now. Scorpio, this is very dire because karma is not playing with you. This is karma being like Page of Pentacles. If God gave you another chance like this Page of Pentacles, you need to balance the scales. You must balance the scales, Scorpio. You must. You must balance your scales. You must. I think your shit is stalled out until you do. I think you know this. I think you know if I don't, it's like being so backed into a corner. It's like if I don't claim this shit, because this person already did the karma for you. They already opened your heart for you. They already cleared your road for you. They already gave you the primordial truth that helped you unblock your shit. But they didn't do that they didn't have an ulterior motive, but God did not have them come do that for you to just get out of the pickle and give them nothing again. No. You need to tell the truth about where you're getting your help from, Scorpio. I get it. You're so used to being the one who's all powerful, but you're getting your power from somewhere else. And so you need to make sure you're honoring where you got that from. Because you didn't know how to open that road. Don't do like Sherman Ray. I got there, I opened all types of roads for this nigga. He wanted to get carried away and kick you to the street once I opened them for him? No. You think God's gonna play about? No. Right? In the fear space, the King of Swords. I think you were terrified. I think this Aries energy, when you saw coming, you were like, I am so freaked out. What if I don't what if I don't defrost? What if I still can't feel my feelings by the time this new beginning comes? You were so terrified of that. Being just as stoic. And I think it's a condition. I think you just genuinely were like dealing with a long-term spiritual malady from complex like trauma. And it's like, I still can't feel. This is not, I can't lead my life. I have too big of a destiny. I feel like Scorpio is so stressed out. It's like, I'm being given a lot of responsibility and I can't even feel my way through it. I can't sense anything. I don't know. This is like someone who doesn't have a pulse, like literally, like it's like your handicap is like, you can't tell what's good. You can't, you know what I'm saying? This is someone who's like got a lot of money, power, or whatever, but then they can't tell what's going to land or not. And that's probably why you were hiring out all this help, because you were needing help, but it's like, it actually is just an extension of you covering up the root issue, which is that like, you should probably heal, but you needed a healer. You needed more love, Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio, yes. Do you want to know how this ends for you? Temperance. Temperance shows up. I also feel like there's a big message of like, you were told by the divine this angel will never show up for you again. Like I think you literally went to the abyss where it's like, you'll never see this again. You were literally mourning so bad the last 9 months. Like this, like God has already told me several dreams, several times, you will never see divinity again. You've been like, I think you got cut off from God for sure. Couldn't, like, I think this is like not dealing with your trauma that you got from the world system, actually severing your divine connection. I think you genuinely severed your divine connection and you fucked around and found out, like, wait. And that's not good, because say you're a metaphysical practitioner, say you're an artist, say you're a healer, say you're any of those things that require a connection to God, and you severed it. So when this temperance angel shows back up in your life by the mercy of God, guess what you do? You invest all your beings. You invest every single being, every being. Because there is no divine connection if the divine doesn't choose to show up in your life. The divine can cut us off at any time, Scorpio. Remember that. And God will keep you here like a vampire with no fucking warm blood running through your body for eternity. Don't fucking play. Okay, Scorp? So I think you tasted that. I think we got that. I think we understand that now. But I want you to understand, Temperance is revealing her face to you again. She is not coming. She's not even coming here. God has got you on assignment. This is what we need to see from you. Overwhelming cups, overwhelming investment. Swiftly, quickly, no questions. You understand me? Because this thing you created is for temperance, is for the angel that you dismissed and then therefore cut your divine, closed all your, blocked every road. Close them right up. Because that angel opened your heart chakra. When you fucking kicked it to the curb, it closed that shit right back up because you had no divine love pouring into you. And every road closed from there. Take all that effort. Don't worry about the bitches. Don't care about the third parties. Know that you went this hard so that you could change God's opinion on you. So that, because this is about someone getting off the naughty list and trying to find a way if they can get back on the nice list. You need to go to God and see if this effort is enough, because it might be in a physical person that you need the affection of or the love of. Like, for example, in my dad's case, I could really represent him going back to the path of pleasing God again. Like, if he at all was caring about repairing the relationship with me right now, that would be an example of him being like, I do care about making sure I put all my effort into making sure God can change their opinion on me emotionally. Because God doesn't have any trust for you, because it's like, well, last time God gave you some fucking power and some money and some authority, you just took that shit and free yourself and didn't give a fuck about the divine part of it. So you really got to put your effort in. You just need to really stay focused right now and know that you are trying to win over God's affection. This isn't about a person. This isn't about anyone. This is not about people admiring you. This isn't even about, it's not even like you need anything. I don't think you're on the survival pipeline at all, Scorpio. I don't think that's what your issue is right now. This is about making sure the creator doesn't think you're a cluck. You know what I mean? Because this behavior is crazy. So you get what I'm saying? I'm going to get one overall message for you, Scorpio. because I'm rooting for you. I'm wishing you the best. I really hope you take this seriously. You put your effort in, and I think because you got to put everything you've learned about magic. That's another side bit here. You had to really get better at spirit work. You had to get better at creating stuff. So you probably had to relearn a lot of stuff because you weren't keeping up. So let's look at the last overall message for Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, this is awesome. This is awesome. For my high vibrational Scorpios, this is what God wants for you. Die for them. Die for the Two of Cups. Die to self for them. That is the only thing I think God wants to know. Will you die for the living word? Will you die in order for me to give you more life? Will you allow me to re-administer you the new thing? Do you have faith that you have this eternal love already, that you can let go of who you were and you'll have something eternal will be there? This is about coming over your fear of death, Scorpio. Transform into more love, though. You know what I mean? Transform the situation so that you can actually have this when you come back instead of just more of this, just setting yourself up back to the ace to get through the 10 and die again. Because you see, the Two of Cups, they're not even talking about dying all the time. They're not even fucking having to do none of that, But you keep refusing to transform. You're never going to stay in alignment to your Two of Cups because your Temperance angel is transforming all the time. She's clearing out her waters. You know what I'm saying? Genderless, of course, Scorpio. So you have completely understood that. You now understand. The road only opens if your heart chakra is open. You know that now, okay? But you needed a divine angel to come open both the road and your heart. So pay them in full. Pay them the reparations for what they did for you. Okay? God loves you. I'm excited for you. This is a small window, though. Don't fuck this up because you can fuck your shit up and you just be back to the same shit you've been going through the last 9 months. So, okay? Take this serious because I know you don't want to be doing this shit no more, okay? I love you, Scorps. Let's do this.